Like, this man is a 700-year-old blonde-haired demon, and you're like, oh, I think he's actually kind of cute. And I'm like, girl, okay, you need to stand up and get a reality check. What the heck? This is so good. I don't know. I just don't see them working out long term. Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. I have been wanting to film this video for quite a while now, but there hasn't really been a gap of time where I have just like a couple days in a row where I have a bunch of free hours in the day, but I do right now, and that's very exciting. So I'm sure you can already guess by the title of today's video, but we are going to be reading for 24 hours. For these types of videos, I prioritize sleep and my mental health, so I will not be reading for 24 hours straight because I've tried that in the past and it has never once been successful. And then I end up like not loving the books that I read during those 24 hours because I was pretty much, to be honest, delirious. So what we're going to be doing instead is I'm going to be reading for a full 24 hours, but I'm going to be setting my timer on my iPad for 24 hours, and I'm only going to have it running when I am reading. And then by the end of the 24 hours, we'll see how much I read. I have been in the biggest reading mood the past couple of weeks, and so I'm very eager to do some reading. Having the timer incentive just makes it kind of a little bit more fun. So let's get into talking about the books that I plan on reading for the next 24 hours. Here's my stack right here. Oh, it's gonna fall. This is my TBR for this month. So these are all the books that I need to read in this month, and we're about halfway through, and I haven't finished a single one of these. So I'm going to definitely prioritize reading these books. I'm definitely not going to get to reading all of these, but I want to have a little bit of choice while I'm doing this 24-hour readathon. So technically these are all on my TBR. I'll probably end up only finishing like 4 of them. We'll see. Maybe I'll be better. I don't know. But yes, so I'm not gonna go super into detail about what the books are because I do have a video on my channel about me picking these books and talking a little bit more about them. But I actually started this book last night, and that's The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross. I believe this is her first book, her debut novel that she came out with. I also believe that this is a duology, and I read about 50 pages last night, and I'm honestly already really enjoying it a lot. The main premise is that there's this girl, Brianna, and she's accepted into this school where each person there has to, by the end of their time there, which I believe is like 7 years, has to pick a certain passion, and I believe it's like art, wit, knowledge, music. Is that right? Music and dramatics. Art, music, dramatics, wit, or knowledge. And she's kind of struggling because she doesn't feel like she has a certain passion, and the consequences to that, I believe, like you're not able to find a job. So I'm like, oh, this is like the real world. But there's also, I think, a magical element too. I don't know if there's necessarily magic, but oh, but yeah, magic. Okay, there is magic. It hasn't popped up yet, I would say, but I think that's going to happen later. I don't really know a lot what's gonna happen at all, but I am enjoying my time. Rebecca Ross is one of my favorite authors of all time. I've loved everything I've read from her, so I'm really hoping I'm going to enjoy this. So I think this is the first book I'm going to read for this video. But I also wanted to mention that while I'm reading, this is probably going to be over the course of like 3 days. So today's Wednesday, and I'll probably finish by Friday, but each day I have like one activity that I have to do. Not have to do, but that I have scheduled. So for like the majority of the day, I can just be by myself and read, but I do have like things with friends, I think each day. Today, I don't think I do, but I do have to do just a little tiny bit of work, but for the majority of the day, I can just sit and read. And it's about like 10:40 right now. I would have started this earlier, but I was like, do I want to film this video if I can't do it in like 2 days? But I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'm setting the timer anyways. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna shut up right now, and I'm so excited. I'm gonna get the ambiance going, get the room set to just sit on my couch and read for a couple hours. I'll probably go on a walk later, but right now it's a really nice gloomy day and perfect weather to stay inside and read. So very excited, and I'm gonna get to reading now. Okay guys, I have a little bit of an update. I don't know why I'm wearing my headphones still, but I think I'm just gonna leave them on right now. But anyways, so I just had lunch and I am about 140 pages into The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross, and I'm absolutely loving it right now. I just haven't read like a fantasy book in a while that I just don't want to put down and that I'm just super engaged into the story. So I'm really enjoying it a lot right now. But I also, like, while I've made lunch and while I was eating it and stuff, I have been listening to the audiobook of My Roommate is a Vampire. I started it yesterday, and this is kind of a reread for me, or like a retrial. Oh, my arm's getting tired. I need to switch. As I was saying, I've read this book in the past and I made it about like 50% of the way through it. So I'm trying it again, and it was on my TBR for the month. Originally, when I first read it, I just physically read it, but this time I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm actually liking that format a lot more for this book. It's just a lot funnier, I think, because overall this book is anything amazing? No, but it's entertaining and it's funny. It's about this girl. She ends up seeing this like Craigslist ad, and it's to room with a vampire, and it's just really funny. He's been asleep for like 100 years, so she has to teach him like pop culture things or just how to act normal in today's society. So it's funny. It's just a good time. So that's my audiobook that I'm listening to, because this is a true 24-hour readathon that I am going to be reading in some sort of format for 24 hours. And so yeah, that's what I'm intermixing with The Queen's Rising right now, because I always have to have an audiobook on deck. Always have to. So yeah, like I mentioned, I started that yesterday and I made it about 16% of the way through it, but I'm about 30% of the way through it now. I would say I listened to it for about like 40 minutes while I was just like cleaning and getting lunch ready and eating it and stuff. So I desperately need another coffee right now. So I think I'm going to go for a little walk and go to a coffee shop near me and probably read a little bit there. That's what I'm gonna do right now. Yes, that's my update. Bro, what the heck? This is so good. Okay, I was filming me reading the last couple pages, but my camera stopped. I don't know why, but I did just finish The Queen's Rising. Queen's Resistance is the second one, I believe. Dude, I loved this. I think this was so good. There was so much going on. The stakes were high. The characters were great. I loved our female main character. I loved the romance aspect in this book. It was intense. It was unpredictable. I mean, there was one part of it that I guessed was going to happen. And yeah, overall I had a great time. I think I'm going to wait to do my star ratings till the end of this video just so I can think about it. I'm thinking right now though, this isn't official, but I'm thinking it's like a 4.25. There's just like some aspects that don't make it a 5-star, but I had such a great time reading this. And yeah, I was just like on the edge of my seat the whole time pretty much. So good. So update time. I don't know if you can see. It's dark out. Let me pull the timer up right here. We have 16 hours and 49 minutes left. I've paused the timer. But since the time I've been reading this, but I'm also 55% of the way through My Roommate is a Vampire. I've been listening to that quite a bit today, so I don't know exactly how long it took me to read this, but I've been intermixing both of them. So I guess today I've read 40%, I think, of My Roommate is a Vampire, and then I finished this book. In terms of my plans for the rest of the night, it's about 8 o'clock right now. I think what I'm going to do is pop in my audiobook and clean up a little bit. There's just like some things, you know, from a day filled of reading. There's just some things I need to pick up. Some laundry on my bed. I need to wash a couple dishes, and I'm gonna put in my audiobook. And then I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm going to maybe have a little ice cream, a little sweet treat, and then I'm going to pick a new physical book to read. I don't know which one I want to do yet. Probably going to end up being a fantasy, because I think think that's all I have left on my TBR besides Crying in H-Mart, which I want to listen to the audiobook of that. So it's probably going to be a fantasy, but I'm not sure which one yet. I've been really good at starting and stopping the timer like when I'm reading. Like the reason it's so late right now is because I was watching the Celtics game. Sorry, my phone said I was out of storage, and so I had to delete a few things. Oh yeah, so I was watching the Celtics game, and so I was like starting and stopping it every time there was a timeout, and so I was reading it during that. But yes, some time has passed. One book down, one about to be finished. This was so good. I want to read the second one like immediately, but I'm gonna chill on that. One action I might do in terms of this series, I might look on Pango Books right now to see if there's a good used copy of the second book in this series that I can order. That would be amazing. Not even 8:30 p.m. right now. Yes. Am I getting into bed right now? Also yes. I already showed you, but I picked Prince Caspian. I don't know why, I was just like, ooh, this sounds like nice to read before bed, you know? I haven't checked if I could get it on my Kindle. I'm sure I probably can, but I kind of want to try reading the physical copy I have because it has these really cute pictures too, which I think the digital version does as well, because when I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, it also had that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get in bed and read this. It's only 216 pages, so we'll see how far I can get before I head to dreamland. Hi guys, and welcome to the next day. I have just finished our second book for this video, and that is My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. Look how floppy this book is. Every book should be this floppy, in my opinion. Yeah, it's about 9 o'clock right now, and I was just finishing up listening to this while I was getting ready for the day. I listened to it, I think I mentioned a bit last night as well, but in terms of like how I felt about the book for a review, I think overall like it is like a raw. And there were times when I was listening to this audiobook where I was actually laughing because there were just aspects of this book that were just really funny, because the main guy in this, Frederick, he's a vampire. I forget how old he is exactly, but he invites this girl Cassie to be his roommate, and she says yes because she needs a cheap place to live, and he wants a roommate because he's actually been asleep for the past 100 years and wants to have like a roommate to teach him how to interact in today's society. It's funny, there's like fun pop culture references in it. Talk about Downton Abbey, which I love. They talk about Taylor Swift, which I love. Yeah, it was really funny. I will say, if you're looking for a romance that has a couple in it that you're just like so obsessed with them, they're meant to be, they're just so good for each other. For me personally, that is not what this book is for. I think like the couple in it, I mean, this girl is crazy. Like, she is crazy. She's actively living with a vampire. Then she just is really into him. But honestly, like, this is a book about pretty privilege and wealth. Because I mean, no shame, girl, I get it. Like, he's apparently really hot and he's rich, okay, but he is so annoying, and I don't know, I just don't see them working out long term. But that is not what this book is about. Like, I am sure the author did not have that in mind about the longevity of their relationship. Maybe they would work out, I don't know. There's so many different logistics too with the whole vampire thing, which I will not get into, obviously. But yeah, overall it was like it was a fun read. But the audiobook, I was really liking it to start with. I think I mentioned that, but I just got so annoyed by the voices. The main guy in the book, when the narrator would talk in his voice or like from his perspective, oh my gosh, his voice drove me insane. Like, it was so bad. I think maybe if this was like dual perspective, that would have been better. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard when it's like the same narrator throughout and they're just trying to do a voice that is not in their range, I guess. So the guy's voice, I was like, oh my gosh, I literally can't take this seriously. But yes, so 2 books down, and I do have an update on Prince Caspian. So I have made it about 93 pages into Prince Caspian. That's almost halfway through, and I was just reading this before bed. It was honestly such a relaxing book to read before bed, and I had a great time. My book light died, so I had to use my like literal flashlight to finish up the reading. But I just realized, look at this, is like an old copy I got from my mom, but look, it literally says the price was $2.95. Can you imagine? How much was, oh, well, this one I got used, so it says it's $8.99, but I'm pretty sure like romance books, they're like $18.99 or something like that for a paperback romance book. But yes, I am enjoying this a lot. I love the Prince Caspian movie so much. If you know me, you know I have a bad obsession with that movie. But yeah, I've never read the book. I read Magician's Nephew and Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, and then this is the next one that I need to read in like the, I mean, I guess it's like kind of controversial, like the order in which you read the series, but in my opinion this is the next one that I need to read. So I am enjoying it. It's so cute. I love all the illustrations at the beginning of the chapters. I think it is so fun. I think this has the potential to be my favorite out of the other ones that I've read. I just paused the timer when I finished My Roommate is a Vampire, and I have about 13 hours and 33 minutes I believe left for this 24-hour readathon, so I'm almost halfway there, and I've already finished 2 books, so I would say that's a success. While I have the camera here and while I'm talking to you, my plan for today, I have about an hour before I have a meeting with one of my professors, and I don't know how long that's gonna take. And then I'm meeting up with a friend for coffee, and then I'm calling my sisters. So I have about an hour to read some more of this, and then I probably won't be reading anymore till like 1-ish. I think. So I'm planning on reading for the rest of the day once I get back, but we'll see how that all goes. But I'm loving the books that I'm reading. Having such a great time. But if I forget to update you, the audiobook I'm going to start is Crying in H-Mart. I'll just listen to this probably like when I'm driving to the coffee shop and back. Probably won't get a lot done of that, but yes, I'm going to sit down and read a little bit more of this before I have my call. Okay, I just finished Prince Caspian. This was so much fun. It's always fun like comparing a book to its movie or vice versa, and I have only ever seen the Prince Caspian movie and I've never read it before, and it was really fun seeing what they added to the movie and like the differences with it. I will say, I said this when I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and I compared it to its movie, which I did in a video late last year, I think. I think the movies are more detailed than the books are, at least for Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe and Prince Caspian. I think the movie adds a lot more depth, I would say. Like, I really liked the book a lot, but I love those movies, man. Maybe my perspective would be different if I read the book first and then watched the movie, because I'd be like, hey, that wasn't in the book. Why did you add that? You're not being true to the book. But I feel like what they added to the Prince Caspian movie in particular, I think, like I said, I think added a lot of depth, especially when you're talking about like the relationships between the 4 siblings. I think that was very interesting in the movie. They don't really go super into detail about like what each sibling is struggling with. It deals a lot with like Peter struggling with like not necessarily being the leader anymore, or just like dealing with that and struggling with like believing in Aslan and stuff. Like, they mention it briefly in the book, but I feel like it was a little bit more interesting in the movie. But yes, that's enough talk about Prince Caspian. Like I said, only like 216 pages, I think. So that's all done. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick a new book. They're right there. The pile is right there. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna pick yet, but I'll just insert a clip of what I end up picking. My plans for today. So like I said, I had my meeting with my professor, got coffee with a friend, and then, sorry if it's loud, there's a lot of stuff going on outside, and then talked with my sisters for a bit. And then I just ended up sitting down for like 30 minutes to finish Prince Caspian just now. Yeah, it's about like 2 p.m. right now, 2:15, I guess. And I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna go to another coffee shop just by myself though, and read a bit there. I love reading in public, one of my favorite activities. So I think I'm gonna go to a cafe I like to go to, and they have this super good seasonal drink right now. It's like an iced strawberry matcha, but they make their own strawberry syrup, and it's so good. And I get it with oat milk. It's so good. So I think I'm gonna go get a little fun drink and read for a while, because it's so cozy there and I love it. So yes, Also, I forgot to mention, but we're almost halfway through this challenge. I don't know if you can see, but it says on the timer that there's 12 hours and 6 minutes left. That's exciting. And yeah, we're almost halfway there, guys. This has been so fun. So 3 books done. I'm back, and sorry if I look a little disheveled. I came back from the coffee shop a bit ago, like 2 hours ago, or like an hour ago. No, yeah, an hour ago. And I don't know what happened. Maybe I had just like the wrong amount of caffeine a day, but I crashed and took like an hour-long nap. I don't know what happened. I haven't even been like napping recently. Like I used to be a big napper, but I don't really nap anymore that often at all. So I don't know. I just needed a nap and I listened to my body. I just woke up, so if I look a little crazy, that's why. But I just updated the timer because I film on my phone, and so I've been doing the timer on my iPad, and I didn't want to bring my giant iPad to the bookstore with me, so I updated it and I timed on my phone. I read for an hour and 6 minutes. I listened to Crying in H-Mart on the way there and on the way back, and I read Where the Dark Stands Still while I was there. So I have 11 hours left on the clock, and it's about 5:30 right now. But yeah, for Where the Dark Stands Still, I read to page 66 in the coffee shop. I'm not sure how I feel about it right now. I'm going to read a bit more, but if I'm not feeling it anymore, I might switch to something else and then pick it up again later. Like the main premise is that our main character in it, Liska, I think her name is. Yeah, she has like magical abilities, but she's grown up knowing that that's like wrong and evil or whatever. So she is like wanting to get rid of her magical powers. And so one day she's in the forest and meets this like, I don't know if he's like a fairy. Is he a fairy? A demon warden. Okay, so not a fairy, I guess. I don't know. But she meets this guy, she meets this demon in the forest, and he's like really hot, obviously, or whatever. And she asks him to take away her magical abilities. And he says, yeah, I'll do it, but you have to live with me for a year. And so she's like, okay, sweet deal. So that's kind of what's happening right now. I mean, obviously, I feel like this is going to turn into a romantic relationship, I'm guessing. But he is really annoying. Like, obviously, he's a demon, but he's just really annoying. It's kind of giving like Hades and Persephone vibes, but more like Beauty and the Beast. Like he's making her like cook for him and stuff, and I was like, girl, this is weird. I don't know. It's a kind of a weird vibe, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm not engaged at all. I'm not sold yet. This cover is stunning. Like, look at that. But we'll see how it goes. I'm going to read to page 150, and if I'm not super engaged in it, then I'm gonna pick up something else. I'm not in that era of my life anymore where I'll continue reading a book if I'm not enjoying it. So I'm gonna continue reading a book that I'm not enjoying right now. But I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. And maybe I was just not in the right mindset at the bookstore. I don't know. It could have been that. I don't know what it was. I got my strawberry matcha latte and it tasted so good, but it was like every time I sipped it, I was getting more and more tired. I don't know. Like I was exhausted there. That's enough talk about that. But I'm gonna start the timer. I'll probably make dinner soon and listen to, excuse me, and listen to Crying in H-Mart while I do it. I'm gonna stop talking. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm like so tired that I'm just talking a lot. So, gonna read some more of this. Okay, like I'm sorry, but is this just like ACOTAR? I mean, I know that the first one is based off Beauty and the Beast, but this is kind of giving that. It's been a very long time since I've read that series, but I feel like this is kind of giving that. I don't know, but a little bit more like Hades and Persephone vibes. Am I wrong? Or at least in the first book, I think that the Tamlin guy, he was actually like kind of nice, right? It wasn't like an enemies to lovers, was it? I can't remember, but this guy is just like a piece of work. This girl, I'm worried for her. I'm back. I have made it to page 150, guys. I can't with this main girl. I can't with her. Oh my gosh. This book is Stockholm Syndrome in full effect. Like, this man is a 700-year-old blonde-haired demon, and you're like, oh, I think he's actually kind of cute. And I'm like, girl, okay, you need to stand up and get a reality check. This is not good. She's like, oh, he like helped me up from the ground one time. Yeah, but he also like slapped your hand away multiple times when you were just trying to like be nice to him. And also like you're forced to live with him for a year, and like you're forced to like cook and clean. Girl, this is crazy. This is crazy. So you may be like, oh, she's gonna stop reading the book. That is where you would be incorrect. I'm actually going to continue to read this book. That is truly because of the vibes. This book, I love the gothic vibes in it. I love the setting, and I'm just very entertained by this book. Are the two main characters driving me insane? Yes, but like I said, I'm entertained, and I do want to see what happens, and I do want to have like a full opinion about it. So while this is causing me pain, I am going to finish reading it. Hopefully it's going to be fun in the end. I don't know. But I guess this is based off like Polish folklore, so I don't really know exactly about that, but that's pretty cool. I didn't know that aspect of the book. The plot is like very minimal. I think it's definitely more like romantic-y heavy, which I was kind of hoping this one was going to be more plot than romance based. I just feel like for me in these types of books, it's just hard for me to enjoy them when they're too romance based in fantasy books, because I'm like, oh, this setting is like kind of cool. This would make a really good fantasy story. But then when it's just like her inner monologue is like, oh wait, no, this is actually third person, which is also kind of weird. I don't know why, but it just feels weird that this book is in third person. But it's like when the girl is talking about just like how she's like maybe attracted to him. I was like, girl, okay, you literally need to figure out how to get out of this situation. You can't be worrying about stuff like that. Like, your whole point is you're trying to get rid of your magical powers. You can't be thinking about how he's so cute. You gotta like lock it in, okay? You can't be doing this. I don't know. But I think my plan for the rest of tonight is I'm going to get in bed. It's like 8:30 again, so another night getting in bed at 8:30, but whatever. Fine with me. I'm going to try to read some more of this until I fall asleep. I'm hoping to read until like maybe 10:30. That would be great. And because I have about 9.5 hours left in this challenge, so if I can go to bed and the timer can be at 7 hours and 30 minutes, perfect. I will be able to finish that tomorrow. No problem. But I was thinking, I was like, last night I was reading cute little Prince Caspian before bed, and just had a really great night's sleep, and it was just all cozy in bed, whatever. And then tonight I'm gonna be reading about this demon that is like so horrible, and I'm probably gonna get nightmares. I don't know. This is definitely me setting myself up, but I feel like this book has to be read in like a dim lit room with my little reading light. I want the atmospheric vibes of this book to be to the max. So I think that could be fun, and that's what I'm gonna do anyways. Yes, that's my plan for tonight. I think I'm gonna get ready, and while I'm getting ready, I'm gonna turn this timer on, and I'm gonna listen to Crying in H-Mart while I get ready. I'm about like an hour and a half into that. I was listening to that while I was cooking. That was so good, by the way. It's like a newer recipe that I've tried. I've tried variations of this in the past, but it was like a sun-dried tomato pasta, and the sauce I made is a little different than ones I've done in the past. It was honestly fire. I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna turn the timer on and get to reading because we got things to do. All right, I'll see you probably tomorrow unless something crazy happens in this book and I have to give you an update. But I'll just say good night now. Good night. I know you can hear my white noise in the back, but we just found out that the guy in this, the demon boy, We've just found out his actual name, and his actual name is the same as one of my favorite book boyfriends. Oh my goodness. He doesn't deserve the name. Dead. She just like so the girl in it, I'm just gonna say a moment happened between them, and she like grabs him by the antlers to like I'll just say get closer to him. I am dead. That just like threw me off. I'm like, this is supposed to be romantic, and she's like, I grabbed him by the antlers. This book is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, tell me this isn't something some like toxic situationship man would say. Okay, the girl in the book. She said, I only wish I knew what to call this between us. He glances away, hair ruffled by the breeze. Some things are best left unnamed. Girl, I am so embarrassed for her. I am so embarrassed for her. All right, guys, we have 4 hours and 17 minutes left in this 24-hour readathon, and I have just finished Where the Dark Stands Still. Guys, this book was crazy. I don't think I've read a book like this in a while, like a classic enemies to lovers, kind of like forced proximity, forced encapturement, or whatever you would call it. I don't know, where she's like has to live with him for a year and whatever, they form some sort of relationship, even though he's a literal demon. But I won't talk about that anymore. I feel like I brought that up too much already. I don't even know what to say about this book. I think I'm realizing after reading this book that yes, I love enemies to lovers, but I think I only like it if like they both hate each other. Like when it's just one of them that is just rude for no reason and the other's just like just there kind of wondering why they're so mean to them. I don't like that. I like when for some reason they both hate each other, but then they just like can't help it, and then they fall in love with each other. I like that type of enemies to lovers. But this type, no, I don't, because it's like, why am I supposed to like this person in here? And then also I mentioned, but the whole horn thing, I didn't even notice. Look at the cover. Look at the, how do I say this correctly? Look at the size of his horns. Like, that's crazy. So that kind of threw me off also. I'm like, okay, girl, what does this man have to offer, actually? But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I will rate it. I'll do that at the end of this video. Pretty disappointed by this book, I can't lie. There were so many times I was just like cringing while reading it. But if the premise sounds good to you, I would say pick it up, I guess. If you're into the type of romance, the enemies to lovers in this format, then maybe you will like it. But for me, it was a no. It was a no for me, for sure. But I do have another update. So I still need to finish Crying in H-Mart. I'm about 52% of the way through the audiobook, but I'm on chapter 11. And so that's page 130. And dude, this book is so sad. I was like, while I was getting ready today, I was really tearing up. It was like right when I was doing my mascara too. I was just not doing well. So I think it is a very difficult read. And just the fact that it is a memoir just adds a different layer of sadness. A mix of storytelling, but also her writing is kind of like lyrical in a way as well. I'm really loving it. I think what I'm gonna do, I haven't got my steps in today, so I think I'm gonna hop on my little walking pad thing, listen to this for a bit. I'll probably finish this before the timer ends, so then I'll pick up something else after. So yes. end of this 24-hour readathon. Oh, this was so much fun. I had such a good time doing this challenge, read some really good books. I feel like it was a range in how I felt about the books, but now I'm going to be getting into my ratings for each of the books. But before I do that, I haven't talked about Crying in H-Mart yet. Oh my gosh, guys, this was so good. This is one of the best memoirs I think I've ever read. I always prefer listening to memoirs as opposed to like physically reading them, especially when the narrator is the author. I don't know why my bookmark's still in here. Yeah, this was just such a good read. It is definitely a tough read, at least it was for me. Yeah, the story about like just a complicated mother-daughter relationship. It was just so powerful, I feel like is the right word for this. I was a lot more emotional reading this than I thought I would, which wasn't helpful because I feel like when I was reading this, I was in like scenarios that weren't ideal. Like right when I was doing my mascara, I started crying while listening to this. Or like when I'm on a walk in public, was listening to this and I was crying in public. Yeah, so but overall, I really enjoyed reading this book and I think it's one that's going to stick with me for a while. And I haven't talked about this yet, but I did end up starting Delicious Monsters and I made it 170 pages into the book. There's about like 500 pages in this. I am going to finish it because guys, this book is so good. It is so spooky and it's like 9 p.m. right now and I would continue to read this, but I'm scared. Like I haven't read a book in so long that's made me like scared, and because I'm not really like a thriller gal, I don't really like horror movies, but I do like a good thriller book every once in a while. It's not my favorite genre, but this one, oh, it's so good. It kind of reminds me a lot of like Ninth House in the sense that like the main character, she's able to like see ghosts and stuff and like see dead people. It's also kind of like a dual perspective because we find out at the beginning that the main character has died and then it's like jumps to 10 years later. It's this girl that works for this company that deals with like true crime stories and she's trying to figure out like what happened. Oh, I am so nervous, guys, but it's really good. That was a very general synopsis of what's going on. But yeah, 170 pages in. I was mixing it with the audiobook and like physically reading it, but the audiobook is so good. So I think I'll probably stick to listening to it because the audiobook is scary, but I'm really enjoying it a lot. But alright, here are the 6 books that we read in today's video. I ended up completing 5 of the books and then, like I said, Delicious Monsters. We're about like a third of the way through that one. So yeah, let's go through what I ended up rating each one of these books. I think I'll go in chronological order because I feel like that's kind of fun. So first book I ended up reading in this video was The Queen's Rising, and I think I'm going to settle on a 4-star rating for this. I thought it was so good and I'm very excited to read the next book. My Roommate is a Vampire. I think I'm gonna give this like a 3 because I say like if you're wanting just like a fun like romance book, yeah, pick it up. Was it anything like super amazing? No. Was it bad? No, not at all. Like it was fun. I enjoyed my time. Prince Caspian. I don't rate classics or nonfiction books, so I'm not going to end up rating this one, but in terms of like the series as a whole, I think this one is my favorite so far out of like Magician's Nephew, Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe, and then this one. I think this one's my favorite so far. Where the Dark Stands Still. Oh my gosh, this book was crazy. I've decided I'm going to end up rating it a 2.5. It was very entertaining, but made me cringe a lot. And the romance I found very lacking. And for a romantasy book, I feel like that's a whole part of it. So if you're gonna have a minimal plot, the romance has to make up for it, or the characters in general. And it just didn't. So 2.5. Like I said, I don't rate nonfiction, so I'm obviously not going to rate someone's memoir, but like I said, this was such a good read and I would highly recommend it. And I haven't finished this yet, but of the 170 pages I've read so far, I'm absolutely loving it, as you probably could tell from before, but I'm on the edge of my seat and I'm actually going to have to watch like an episode of Gilmore Girls or something before I go to bed because I'm like scared right now. Like I'm scared, so yes. I had such a great time making this video, and this is definitely the format I'm going to do my 24-hour readathons in the future because it's just more fun. I'm mentally sane by the end of the video, which is always good. Maybe it's less entertaining, but that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!